Evening, guys. Welcome to the latest episode of the Gym Bros podcast with myself, Ginger Cunt, and Josh. Today we're going to be talking about prep mindset. So on social media at the moment, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's coming to the end of the season. There's a lot of people that have been prepping for a long time. British finals are coming up, so we thought we would talk about our own personal journeys that we've all gone through in the various stages of our life when we've stepped on stage or competed at various levels. It comes from Bryn's idea to do this today, from the mind of Bryn. So,
AKA Ginger Cunt.
We're going to start with
Big
you.
Bryn, GC.
So why don't you talk? So you're probably the one that's competed the most recent out of the three of us, unless you class the eating competition Josh was in the other week.
The state. Yeah.
Why don't you start? You talk about
So obviously everyone knows that my sort of competition.
Is it Strongman?
It's Strongman.
Is it?
Yeah, it is Strongman. Cheers.
I thought it was ballet.
Okay. Right. So, So basically, what we want to go through today is just sort of talking through, sort of one, like how we start off, and we've got it sort of in our minds that we're going to compete. Then sort of us taking on that challenge, sort of start to finish, the adversities that we go through, the sort of training that we go through, the sacrifices that we give, and stuff like that. And we're just going to give our personal opinions on it, of what we've actually done, our little journeys. And then obviously, once the video's out, obviously everyone can add to it. It'd be interesting to see what other people have gone through, because the more podcasts we're doing, we can start to see that a lot more people are engaging with us. A lot more people are getting into our DMs, and a lot more people are giving us their views on the podcast and stuff like that. So it'd be very interesting to see what sort of competition experiences and preps and stuff like that you guys have gone through. But with me, I accepted the challenge of just being an all-out strongman 2-3 years ago. And I started off at sort of a low level. Didn't really have a clue what I was doing. But just basically jumped in head first. To be honest, the training was very difficult to start with, just because it was just heavy all the time. Didn't really have a clue what I was doing till I sort of grabbed a coach. As soon as the coach sort of took me under his wing, started looking at competitions, I realised that the main thing that I had to do was give up a lot of my time to be any good at the sport. And with that obviously comes sacrifices with family, friends. I was always working here, and stuff like that with you. You obviously give me the opportunity where I could sort of balance that. Then leading up to competitions, it got even more intense. I was constantly eating, constantly sort of whinging about life, wasn't I? Of how stressful it is. Just plainly because if you want to get really good at a certain sport, mine being strongman, or even bodybuilding, you've just got to sacrifice everything. All your time's got to be invested in that sport to get anywhere. And obviously, as soon as I've done certain comps low level, the higher the comp as well, the more commitment that's got to go into it, and the more money that's got to go into it. So you're not just looking at sort of the time frame with your family and friends, that sort of sacrificing. You've got to sacrifice financially as well. And sometimes, obviously, if you're not earning enough money on a full-time job and stuff like that, that's when the big hit comes in, and that's stress. Obviously, if you're getting stressed, you're having this battle whether it's even worth it anymore. For some people, like, for example, sort of me, quite a lot of other people that come to this gym that are trying to be pros and stuff like that. I've had conversations with them before where they are just genuinely like, I want this, but is it actually worth it? Because I'm losing that much relationships, financial, I'm struggling mentally. And you do start to ask yourself if it's worth it. If it is worth it. I mean, how did you start out when obviously I know you did the, forgive me, is it the physique?
Yeah, so I did.
I just know that you looked awesome. I didn't actually know what class it was.
Yeah, so I decided to. So I'd always been into going to the gym, and I trained first for fitness, and then I trained to put size on for when I was a bouncer. I wanted to be bigger and heavier than what I was in order to do the job that that I was chosen to do. So I'd always been involved in going to the gym, and then I kind of thought, well, I haven't really done anything with it. I just go to the gym and I kind of eat relatively healthy and this. I don't know. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to set myself a goal and challenge myself to see whether I could actually get on stage, get into the condition where I was on stage. Because a lot of people will go, you'll probably notice this, a lot of people go to the gym, they're bodybuilders or whatever, but they'll never get on that stage. And I don't think you're a bodybuilder unless you really compete. You've got to compete because that's what a bodybuilder does. Otherwise, you're just a gym goer, really. You might want to put size on or whatever. Bodybuilding is different than any normal sport. So you can play football, but you don't necessarily need to be a professional. You can go and have a game of five-a-side, but you can't really, in my eyes, you can't really be a bodybuilder if you're not going to compete. You just go into the gym then and kind of building muscle. Yeah. So I wanted to set myself that personal challenge, and I did my first prep on my own. So I decided on what show I was going to do. I booked it, I paid for it, I worked out my time frames, how long I needed to get in shape, I worked out on my own diet, and I did it. And I was very lucky at the time as well that I was actually working for a company within the fitness industry. So they were very understanding about what I was doing in terms of being able to eat at certain times throughout the course of a day. If I'd have had a normal job, like say working in a call center or something like that, you're not going to be able to eat every 3 hours because it doesn't allow you to do it. Or if you're out a DPD driver or a bus driver, whatever, you can't just sit there whenever you need to at a 3 hour interval. So I was very lucky that I was in that position, and that enabled me to continue to work, to earn, to focus on being able to get my meals in. And then my training was done in an evening, but it was absolutely exhausting, It puts a strain on your work, because as your calories start to come down, you start to become fatigued. You'll lose your concentration. As your body fat starts to drop as well, you become really cold. You can't get comfortable. You're not sleeping very well, which will then have a knock-on effect. So these are the mental challenges that I think you need to be able to overcome. The prepping for a competition as well, when I did, so the first show I did myself and it was okay, and I went and I got myself in good condition, but I didn't go right to the extreme that I wanted to. Whereas the second show that I did, because I wanted to try it myself to see whether I enjoyed it, to see whether I wanted to, liked being up in front of everybody. Because again, a lot of people can't even do that. They'll go through the prep and then they'll get on stage and they go, I can't walk out there, I can't get there. I can't get in front of all these people, have all these eyes on me. Once I knew that I could do that, I then kind of got the bug, and I was like, right, well, I don't want to just compete now. I want a trophy. I want to come away with something. And that's when I then hired a coach who was then, that enabled them to focus on my training and my nutrition. And all I had to do was follow it and focus on my training. At that position, I was actually running my own company. So again, I was in a very lucky position that I could eat when I wanted. I'd quite often go and have a nap on the sofa that I had in the office, midday, because I was tired, and then carry on working. So I had that flexibility. I had a very supporting partner at the time as well. She understood what I was going through. She understood the sacrifices that we had to make. And it's really silly because you make things you kind of take for granted that you'll do with your partner, like you'll go shopping somewhere and you'll grab a coffee. Can't do that.
Yeah.
I prepped over summer, so you get invited to barbecues and things like that. Can't go. Or you can go, but you have to take your own food with you.
Yeah.
So you sacrifice, if you've got a partner, they have to be really understanding, because you're sacrificing your time together as well.
Yeah.
And then they have to understand that, your priority is eating, training and sleeping and working. And they then become a very low priority for 16 weeks. And I think it's that, taking it to the extreme. So when I competed, I got down to about 4% body fat, and that in itself was dangerous. So like it hurt to get out of bed in the morning because you have no fat pads on your feet. So you're taking, my sleep was so bad because your body doesn't want to sleep when your body fat's that low. You're freezing cold all the time. None of your clothes fit you properly because you're just literally so lean. So actually, although you look incredible, it can mess with your head. It can make you feel like you put a normal t-shirt on and you're like, fucking hell, doesn't feel like dead small and stuff. So it can mess with your head as well. It can mess with your own mentality.
Yeah.
And then, like, I believe that a lot of people will never get on stage because, again, that's the ultimate kind of hurdle that you've got over. There's a lot of people that don't like to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
They don't like their eyes on them. They like going to the gym and they enjoy it, and that's potentially their hobby. But then that fear factor, I remember the very first show I did was really easy because the stage was really high and it was really dark and you couldn't see anyone. Couldn't see anyone. So that was dead easy.
So it wasn't the simple look out in the crowd, picture.
No, I couldn't see anyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I knew people were there.
Yeah.
But because you couldn't see them, it depends on your mentality. You can block them out.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, well, I'm just go to my happy place. And you go through your little routine. You're not making any eye contact. The second show that I did, the stage was here and the crowd was here in a wall of people, and I could see every single person's eyes on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I really didn't like that.
Yeah.
And it was well lit as well. So you could literally see everyone, and you're there being judged on how you look.
Yeah.
Which again is something that a lot of people have insecurities about, their physique, and you're putting yourself out there to be judged by strangers on whether you're good enough or not to come away with a trophy or a placing. So it's very, very tough mentally. It's draining physically. It will massively affect your sex life. It will affect your relationship. It will affect your work life. It will affect your social life while you go through the whole process.
Yeah.
Is it rewarding? I think it is, because it shows that you are mentally tough to push through numerous obstacles and adversities in your life in order for you to achieve something that you really want. Whether you come away with a trophy or not, if you get up on that stage and you bring the best possible package that you can, that's an achievement to yourself, because you've done that. You've had the drive, the determination, the focus to get yourself to that position. If you've had a coach, they're only encouraging you. They're not dragging you on stage or anything. You make that decision to do that. The coach is just there to enable you to get you in the best possible package. So if you can do that, then it's really good. So it's all about for me, it was all about mental toughness and drive, and proving to myself that I could actually do that.
Yeah, because I think looking from the outside in, obviously being the strongman, not sort of bodybuilding, you know, one thing that always gets thrown around is mentality. You know, well, what's tougher? Is it bodybuilding? Is it strongman? Definitely in terms of training, it's strongman, hands down. No one can even thingy that. But I definitely think in terms of the side that's definitely more harder for you guys than sort of strongman is, you are always being judged. You are literally like, oh, you know, his pecs don't look that good, or he's not looking that full today, or do you know what I mean? Like, we even spoke about it before on the podcast where you're saying, you know, there'll be days where literally like you haven't had a carb. So to someone else, you look really good, but in your head, you're stood there going, fucking hell, man, I want a carb, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like you say, you're going to barbecues and you're like, I can't have this food, and I'm just sat there going, I'm a heavyweight, mate, I can do what I want. Do you know what I mean? I can literally do what I want. Oh, I want another cake? Yeah, no problem. But I definitely think looking outside in, one thing that I definitely see is there's, unless you're at the top, you know, this sort of happens in every sport, but I'm starting to see it a lot in bodybuilding. Unless you're at the top, there's no financial gain there.
No.
It seems to be, it's all, you know, personal gain. You know, you look at yourself, you respect yourself, you respect what you've gained in the mirror. Like you say, you know, a coach will only be there to advise you. You're the one that's putting the graft in. You're the one that's putting the hard in. You're hard in, graft in. You're the one, you know, that's waking up in the night and having to potentially eat or protein shake or whatever. You're the one that's having to chug all that water down and strip it. You're the one that's having to, take them battles with the missus or whatever because she's having a go and she's like, oh, I've got no time. And it's like, well, I did tell you. Stuff like that, potentially you've got kids. Well, why can't you go off the couch, Dad? Well, I'm fucking drained, you know what I mean? I do understand them sort of aspects, but sort of when you were going through your prep from sort of start to finish, because I've never experienced, and I want to one day, but sort of the bounce back, the blow up, sort of after you've done your cut and you've competed and then you're sort of filling up again. I want to experience that because I've heard it's just out of this world. But sort of from start to finish, where do you think your hardest point was for you personally?
So for me, it was, so the first show that I did, I didn't have a coach.
Right.
So I didn't reverse diet.
Right.
So...
Sorry, can you just explain that to...
Yeah, so basically what you should do is you've obviously been in a calorie deficit for so much, you've been depriving yourself of certain nutrients and this, that and the other, and your output has been massively increased against your calories coming in to get you basically dehydrate yourself for show day. You drain all the water out of yourself in order to make you look as lean and as crispy as possible. So it's actually a very, very unhealthy process to go through. And then what I did is I didn't reverse diet, which is slowly start to introduce foods back into your diet,
right,
trying to normalize things, get your kind of balance of your body back, increase your water. So I didn't do that. I just kind of went straight back into eating food. And I ended up really ill afterwards, really ill.
Yeah.
My immune system completely dropped. I ended up, because I competed and I was exhausted, which you are exhausted. And then say I competed on the Saturday. I had the Sunday off. I came home, I went back to work on the Monday. Tuesday I flew to Switzerland on a business trip. I spent probably about 14 hours that day traveling. Not really eating food, planes, trains, taxis, not really sleeping right because then I had the next day I had meeting. So I had like a period of about 4 or 5 days after my show where I don't even know what I was running on.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember a lot of that trip when I try and recollect what was. I remember certain things when I look at pictures, but I can't remember a lot of what went on. And then when I came back, my immune system had dropped so low. When I get stressed or run down, I develop like little lumps in my eyes.
Right.
And one of these infected and my eye actually completely closed up, and I've just ended up having to like cut it and taking antibiotics. I was really ill afterwards. Really, and that was my own lack of knowledge. When I did it the second time, obviously I had a coach, so we then slowly started to introduce the calories. You change your training around a little bit. You start to increase your food, you're lowering your cardio, you're getting your levels back, making sure you're nice and hydrated again.
Yeah.
So that's the way. So yeah, it's something that you shouldn't neglect when people talk. Some people talk about that. It became a bit of a buzzword for a long time, like deload week. Well, it's just having a rest.
Yeah.
Like reverse diet came a bit of a buzzword, but it is if you've taken your body to the absolute extreme. I'm sure you guys must have it.
Yeah.
Because in some way, because when you're training and competing, you're wearing your central nervous system down because you're putting it under so much stress on that one particular day. You must have a period of recovery afterwards. So I suppose yours is more recovery after a strongman rather than the diet, because you're not deprived yourself of food or nutrients, but what you've done is you've overloaded your central nervous system. You've taken it to the max and then probably pushed beyond it. So you guys must have some kind of protocol that you follow.
Yeah, I think it works different with different people. With my coach, it was always data. He's built up a massive plan of me over like the past sort of 2 to 3 years now, working together, where at first I just used to have a week off, walk, move about, stretch here, there, blah, blah, blah. And I would come into the competition feeling fresh, feeling amazing. You know, like where you just go to the gym that day and you could just do everything. That's how I wanted to feel. Whereas what he got me in the mindset of is movement is key. movement is recovery. Obviously, specific movements will recover you more, etc. And there's obviously other aspects to it as well. But the main thing key is movement. If you want to recover movement, so a deload for me would then be pretty much cut your weight that you're using in half. You know, you've done all the hard work, as they say now. Now it's time to have fun. Get in the gym, practice the movements, no weight, and just feel your way through. And then your body will actively recover. You know, you'll go into your competition and you'll have little bits of soreness maybe here and there, but they won't affect performance because you've spent that long drilling it. You know, your body knows how to adapt. It's a beautiful thing about the body. It's so intelligent and it literally does adapt to whatever training you're doing. So I found that eventually my last week would be, granted I'm completely pulling back on training, but, you know, 3 times a week I'm still in the gym. I'm still moving bits and bobs of weight and I'm still getting things firing. I'm still getting blood moving. So then when I get to like 3 days before, then it's nothing. 3 days before a comp, nothing. Just walking, movement, making sure food, hydration's on point. But yeah, that's what I found was key for me for the deload. But yeah, anyway, going on to you anyway. What sort of things did you come up with when problems you had when you were obviously doing your prep? Because obviously you were doing a different competition, were you not?
Yeah.
Class. So
Totally different
you
class,
were
men's physique,
and then you were
old man men's physique. I was as well.
Old man's men's.
Master, Masters, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was. It was an over 35. Older 35.
So although you looked 25, you competed in over 35.
I'm not giving you a job.
It's fine.
Yeah, God. I competed when I was in the army. My first time was when I was actually in the army.
Oh, right. Oh, you were in the army?
Yeah, I was actually in the army at the time. I
was
was
a fellow veteran. Oh, hi, mate.
Oh, hi, mate.
No. It's an army thing, mate. You know.
Fucking ginger.
I was infantry. You were. What were you again?
Better than you. That's what I was.
At the back. In the rear with the gear. That one.
Oh, God.
Private joke.
No. So yeah, I competed when I was in the army. I did.
Yeah.
My first time was it was 2016. I think I competed, or 2017. One of them.
Right.
Yeah, I think I started in 2016. Started in like the October, November.
Yeah.
Started with a coach. I went straight in for. I knew some people that had already competed, and I was kind of like, do you sort of go in the gym a lot in the army, and you're like, I was sort of getting into it and thinking, oh, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
I had a couple of mates that had competed, and I thought maybe I might like that. Like,
I mean, we'll get Mijor Tate to put up photos and stuff like that, but quickly, just because obviously when people see them, they'll be obviously amazed with what they see. No problem as well. But sort of, what sort of shape were you in before you actually, like, you know, that aspect where you've just said,
I got photos of it.
Right, okay,
yeah, I got photos. So the day I met my coach, I was 94 kilos.
Okay.
Looked like a rugby player.
Okay.
I don't know, just looked like, not necessarily shapely.
Yeah.
I was just like stocky. I was just a stocky, like young army lad.
Yeah.
That looked like he'd been in a gym fumbling about for like 6 months.
Okay.
Then did my first show exactly 12 months later.
Right.
I did, what did we do? 5 month prep. Did 5 months. I think I did three months till December, just getting on eating food. Never had a plan before, just getting on eating food. And then from January, he sort of started that kind of bulking process. I think it ended up putting on like 13 kilos. Not muscle, like fat, water, all the rest of it, just like a big balloon. And then we had to take all that off. First prep wasn't too bad. I've had, like, I'll talk about worse preps, but like the first prep was like, there was excitement there. There was like, fucking, I'm going to compete now. I'm going to step on stage. Like, it was just excitement. It was engrossing myself in all the work. And whilst getting on parade at 8:30 in the morning and whilst going for lunch and doing all this and doing all my duties that I had to do when I was in the army, but I was quite fortunate. But I was cooking out of a bloody, do you know the utility room?
Yeah.
Little plug it at a hob.
Yeah,
you plug it in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. Honestly, my first prep was the hardest in terms of utilities, but it was the easiest in terms of like mentality. I don't know. I have no idea why. I was in the shittest gym I've ever been in. No offense to commercial gyms, but I was in a commercial gym, and we all like there wasn't this bespoke kit. That you've got a fucking fantastic facility. There wasn't any of this bespoke kit. I was in a okay facility. I was getting up in the morning and I was going onto the gym, the camp gym, for doing my walking or whatever, get my steps in, and then I'd eat my breakfast, go on parade, do my fizz, teach, do whatever I need to do, and then I'd knock off at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then I'd be gym then straight away, and like it was just like this amazing like routine that I had, and it was just like full robotic mode. I was conscious that I was changing, my body was adapting, I was changing and stuff, but I was like, this is fucking mint, this is. Come back every couple of weeks, and I go see my coach up in Wigan, it was. And yeah, there was tough bits, like the sleep, and the sort of, I don't know, just like, when you drain, like I got in good condition, but like my prep last year, I was in crazy condition. So you see the difference in how your body reacts. Like when you're sort of leanish to when you like peel to the bone. There's a massive difference.
Yeah.
And I was feeling good. Like I looked the best I'd ever looked. Like I was veiny everywhere, and I was like, I've never had this in my life.
Yeah.
I was seeing my legs change, my legs get all cut up, my body get all cut up. I had abs. I was like, what the fuck? Who's this stud? Like you feel good. Like you feel wicked. And then I think the last sort of, I want to say probably 5 weeks of it, that's when everything starts to dial in. The last sort of 5 weeks, I have a sort of period of 10 weeks to start a prep where I'm fine. If anything, I'm amazing. Food's going in, body's changing shape, feeling great. And then after that 10-week point, my body just goes, right, this is it now. You're doing it. I start to change day by day, week by week. When I get to that 5-week point, I'm just like, you're just sort of, every day is just, you don't think, do you? You don't think, you're just doing.
Sort of autopilot.
Yeah, coach wants this, wants this, done, dusted, check in, that's it, send some photos, that's it. I remember going to see my coach, and he was talking, and I fell asleep against the wall. Just went full on, just like snoring away. I was out. You sleep a lot. Your body just wants to go to sleep. I was fortunate that I didn't really have to do much at work. Like if you had like a technical job, I imagine it'd be like if you were like, I don't know, video editing, if you were doing that whilst peeled to shit, you'd be like, you'd probably die off a bit. But like, yeah, the first show was good.
Well, this is the thing. So rolling back there, the main thing you highlighted was sleep. Now, was that more because have you been new to it? Was that more because of the job you had? Because obviously, I knew personal experience being in the army. I'd imagine you were living on camp. I'd imagine you were surrounded by certain individuals. You know, mainly men.
It was tough.
Yeah.
People didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So it was tough. Kind of like.
You're the odd one out.
Yeah, I was the odd one out. Everyone was going out and getting pissed, and I was like, "Can't do that, lads. Can't do that, lads." I was like, I was lucky that I was who I was. So I was like, people didn't really bother you too much, but people were like, "Why can't you do this?" I was like, "Cause I can't." Lads would go out drinking, and I'd go and sit and have a black coffee with them, take the dog down, go and sit down the barbecue, and just have a coffee or something. But it was like people. When you do your first show, this goes for anybody. And if you've just competed or if you're thinking of competing, your friends and family will not understand. Same problem with you. Your friends and family will not understand until you've done on stage. I can guarantee it. They will be like, what the fuck are you doing? They won't get it because you'll basically go from being involved and you'll redact yourself completely. And everyone will be like, what the fuck's he doing? What do you mean you can't have that? What do you mean you can't have that?
Fruit. Did you find fruit as well? What do you mean you can't have fruit?
Yeah.
No, I can't have fruit on the diet.
You can't have that. Yeah, but it's just not part of it. Yeah, but it's only a cookie. It's only this. Yes. But if I just say to him, you diet down for 2 months and I will give you a cookie. I'll give you a pack of cookies and I guarantee you won't be able to stop eating them. That ravenous is something that only like deep into prep you will experience. Like if you've ever gone hyperglycemic, you've ever had a massive sugar low, that ravenous, that your body's going, give me everything, and you just like you can't stop. Like you can't stop. Like it's mental. It's like this animal instinct.
Yeah.
That and it's like discipline. It's like I don't want it not because it's gonna mess with my body. Because like let's be honest, a cookie's not gonna mess with your body. It's not, but it'll fuck your mindset.
Yeah.
It'll almost like take you out of it a bit.
You become gluttonous.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, I'm sure you're the same, you're prepping, I can't have anything in the house. Because you get that deprived of it.
You don't want to see it.
You can't eat one. So you might think, oh, I'll just have one cookie, but it's never one.
Do a pack.
The whole packet's gone. And then you want more.
So
you just don't have it in the house.
It's better to have that 5-minute word with yourself. Just saying, don't do it. Don't bother. Because as soon as you start, you won't stop. And your willpower's gone then. So it's better to just go every single day and just being like, I've got this. And then it's like, you sort of, when you go to bed and there's nothing in your stomach and it's killing, I got a buzz off it in the end. I was like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and there's going to be more cuts, there's going to be more lines, there's going to be more definition. You wrap yourself up dead warm because you get dead veiny in the morning when you wake up. So you're like, I got to, it's dead sad. This is.
Do you know what though, mate? It's not. It's
like
not.
I'd whip the covers off.
It's like your hard work doing this.
I'd look and then I'd jump up and I'd look in the mirror and you just.
Yeah, and you're like,
oh, fucking hell, like this has changed. You send some photos to your coach or whatever. But. Yeah, first prep wasn't too bad. Like it was a massive learning curve. Like it wasn't difficult because I had a military mindset. Just like you have this never give up thing in your head. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But the more I get older, the more I take up something.
Yeah.
The more I see myself different to other people, and it's like there's just this switch of It's not give up. It's not even in your head to give up. It's
sort
like
of what they find hard.
Yeah,
it just comes natural.
Yeah, you just do it. I'm just doing it. Like it is tough. Prep is tough, and sometimes you do want to give up. But it's like you just carry on. You just get up every day, follow your plan, and shit will happen. Like it's a fact. Shit will happen.
Yeah,
and
there's certain conversations you have with yourself, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like literally, like you saw me when I did it. The hardest thing I've done genuinely in life, like army, fucking anything, whatever, I don't care. The hardest thing I've done is that 5-day fast I did, where you see me, where literally I don't know what it was. I just competed.
Didn't eat for 5 days.
Oh mate, didn't eat. I'll explain it now. So literally, what I did, I come off a competition. It was when I went for the 400 and the gym was all freezing and stuff like that. Shout out to Dedicated. And basically what it was, as soon as I finished there, I just come back and I had like the most, it was crazy. It was like the most fullest burger you'll ever have. Like it was ridiculously, like it was huge. It looked like it was on steroids, mate, basically. and I literally remember I'd sort of seen videos from a guy called, I always bring him up, MST Systems, who's massive in the strongman world, and he basically came out with like sort of a theory, like I don't know if someone else has invented it and he's sort of taken it and made it his own and all that sort of stuff. But he basically said, if you want to sort of come away from the assistance and all this stuff, lower blood pressure, sort of click your fingers and your body will like sort of be massively reset, hit the reset button sort of thing. Just either do like a 2-day fast and then have a couple of weeks and another 2-day fast, a couple of weeks, another 2 days fast. Or if you just want to go for it, just do a 5-day fast. Like, and trust me, mate, doing that, and the fast consisted of literally nothing but fluids, salt, and sort of like, your coffees, water, 0-calorie drinks, literally nothing. You could have nothing. You could have no carbs, no sugars, no fats, no protein, no nothing. You are pretty much teetotal other than fluid. And yeah, the first couple of days, I counted it from hours to hours, and the first couple of days was like still training. 3rd day, mate, gone. Like literally my head fell off. I was cranky as fuck. I was like, you come in and just be like, who the fuck's this guy? It's your mate, but he's your boss. And it's like, I don't give a fuck, mate, I want to die. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, you literally, I sort of understand what you've been through because I put myself through that. But the one thing that I just kept telling myself was, I can't be fucking asked to start this again. Literally, I cannot be. I'm not doing this again. So I'm not restarting the timer. So I may as well keep suffering. And the one thing that the one thing that will hit you is when someone comes in with fresh food. Nothing else. I can see food, don't care, not interested. But the moment you smell it, wow. It's just like you say, it's that animal instinct. It's like, I want it. And like, it's that crankiness where someone goes, yeah, well, you know, you get to a certain point and, you know, and then your body just stops being hungry. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm on like 76th hour. I'm not fucking, I'm still suffering. You know what I mean? You're saying that while you're eating a fucking grenade bar. Do you know what I mean? Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been through that, like, and you do genuinely just say to yourself, like, what's the fucking point? What is the point in restarting this timer? It's going to be over eventually. I need to just ride it out. Yeah. And whether I cry about it, whether I bitch about it, whether I, you know, I fucking pray, whatever you're going to do, you're eventually going to hit the end of it. It's never going to go on. After, mate, I was next level. Honestly, mate, I felt so much.
Did you suffer for 5 days though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't get any easier.
So, like I say, the first 2 days, the hardest part is just fucking a bit of a rumble. You know, because obviously I was used to like 8,000 calories a day, you know what I mean? Just churning food. You notice you stop going for number twos pretty much second day because your body's just like trying to keep everything. Fat dropped that massively. I think when I started, it was 152. I came out the other end and I was... I think it was about 24 and a half stone, is that? 152, something like that, 24 and a half. And I finished, I was 136. So yeah, I lost the best part of 16 kilo in 5 days. So obviously I wasn't drinking the same amount of water and stuff like that. I was pretty much shredded. I've got pictures as well, pretty much shredded. You know, I had abs pretty much at like 136 kilo. Do you know what I mean? And I weren't training for it. It's just my body just like.
But you felt better after, like it worked.
So much better. But the hardest thing for me, like you said, it was the reload. I tried to reintroduce food for like 3-4 days, and I didn't feel full again for like a week. Now, if I'd have got a coach, maybe I could have done it a bit better, but I was doing it off my own back. You know, keeping protein high, slowly introducing carbs again, stuff like that. But one thing I did get obsessed with is I didn't want to introduce shit carbs. I didn't want to start eating bread straight away. I didn't want to, because I thought, if I've done it and I've grafted for this, I may as well see what other aspects of it like I can. You know, like people do 16-hour fasting and then they have 8 hours of eating whatever they want and then blah blah blah. And it's just like, it is nice to try out different things, but I will say, from going from 8,000 calories to just a 5-day fast is probably not the best way to do it. But you do find out shit about yourself, like literally.
I think a lot of that is, like I said, it's to do with that mental toughness. And not everybody's got that.
No.
Like, mental toughness is, to me, is like coming up against some kind of adversity and pushing through it. Whereas most people will come up against some kind of adversity and they go, too hard, not doing that. Too hard. No, I'll just go back.
People do that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people will do it.
It frustrates me because my last prep was like the best I'd ever looked. Like the best I'd ever looked. Last year this was. But it was the toughest one. Like the toughest prep I'd ever done, because I was the leanest I'd ever been. And like, I'd never been in a situation where I was talking and then I ran out of breath. Like, imagine just going, like nothing, your brain just goes, nope, you've got no more words to say.
I remember Joe doing that.
Like,
wow. Oh yeah.
Before his last show, we were having a conversation in
like
reception.
I had like, I didn't have no body fat, but I had like nothing,
but
all over my entire body.
Yeah.
And then fats are being cut, and then carbs are being cut. And it's like, yes, I'm eating 4 or 5 times a day, but it's nothing. And because you build up and then come down, it's like if I ate my 4-week diet now, I'd probably be okay. But because you build up and then come down, and obviously you're on PEDs and you're on bits and bobs and stuff, you're like, I just had nothing. My brain just, I had nothing, and I was driving, I was teaching. And like, I did, like, fucking hell, it's not a secret. I lost my job because of prep. Do you know what I mean? Like, I sacrificed, I cut corners at work and ended up losing my job because of it. And that's obviously why I've stopped prepping and stuff. But it's like, that was like really, really tough. And ultimately, that was the reason why I didn't end up competing, because fucking your head just falls off. And you are grouchy. And you push on it. I think we did sort of say, like, talk about, is it worth it and stuff. And I think it is in a way. but it is 5 months. If you just take prep, not any of the other bullshit. You take 5 months of prep. Some people do more, some people do less. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I do 20 weeks. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It costs you maybe £2,000-3,000 to do a prep. You're getting fuck all at the end, even if you win, regardless of whether you win. You get a trophy and you get status and whatever. But it's like it's a massive sacrifice. You sacrifice your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your wife, your kid, whatever you've got.
Social life.
Your social life, it's gone.
Sex life's
like,
gone.
Like gone. Like nothing. You don't want to. You don't want to do anything. Yeah. And I do know some people that'll eat clean and they will still go out with friends and they'll take the meals and stuff, which is fair enough. But me personally, like when you get in 5-6 weeks out, you ain't doing that. No. You're fucked. You don't want to do it.
It's not worth it to you, is it?
Yeah, fucked. You're just like, I just want to sleep. I just want to go do what I need to do. Go to the gym. I want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. I just want to sit and fucking cry and just go to bed. Like your body aches, your joints ache.
You literally take a sabbatical from life, don't you?
Yeah.
I'll get back to you.
You just have to work. Yeah. But I think for me, like, because I've been out of it for 12 months now. Do you know what I mean? I think it was this. I should have competed now. And it's like I've got a very different set of eyes on prep personally. Now, me and Paul have had many conversations, and I'm not ruling out doing it again, but also I'm seeing, like, I was like, wow, like I was a different guy. You're just in like this whirlwind of arrogance and vainness, like you are. But you're obsessed with it.
You're sort of wise to what you're sort of wise to what your output will be now, whether it be physically or mentally, and you're like sat there weighing it all up, saying, "Is it worth it or not?"
Like I know what I'm going to take on.
Do that. Yeah, is it worth it or not?
You're like, because as soon as you enter that world, it's like.
But then that shows that you've grown as a person through competing.
Oh yeah,
because it's put you in places that most people will never go to. I think always a bell end for that day. You're a bell end for 6 months because you're doing that and you're putting your body through that. And it's unless you've actually been through it, then you won't get what someone's saying, will they?
And probably not even the first prep. Like your first prep, it might be tough. Don't get me wrong. It might be tough depending on who you are as a person. But chances are you're probably not going to get that lean because. It does take muscle maturity and it does take time. Just like, I don't know what your bench is, but I'm sure your fucking bench is more than it was.
Yeah, let's not talk about it anymore.
I don't know what your deadlift is, but I'm sure you don't just fucking deadlift 400.
Yeah, you don't walk into a gym.
Do you know what I mean? Same with bodybuilding, like leanness and the striations and all this sort of shit. It comes with maturity. It comes with time. Yeah. It comes with doing prep after prep after prep and building yourself up. Like if I put a photo of my first comp to my last sort of prep, it's a different person. It's a totally different person. It's an older person. It's a more mature person. So if you on probably your second prep, you're gonna get lean. You're gonna push more. You're gonna be like, fucking hell, like this is tough. But I think I would encourage everyone to do it. Like hand on heart, I would probably encourage everyone to do it, whether that's a strongman comp or a bodybuilding comp, because it's a fucking massive sense of pride. Like I used to always, now every time you go, before you go on stage and when I come off, I'm always like dead teary because it's like the pride and it's like a fulfillment. Do you know what I mean? Like whether you win or lose, it's like fuck me, I did that. Like I did this shit, and you just feel good about yourself. Whether you carry on with it don't really matter. But do it once, see what you're made of. That's my opinion. Do it once.
I agree.
Yeah, cool. So what do you think is the most important part of your sort of journey from start to finish for you?
I think it's just like I'm in a very different place than I am now. So I think fitness is always going to be a part of my life because I want it to be. So like I've gone through the phase where I used weight training and martial arts for a health reason. I've gone through a phase where I needed to be as big and strong as I possibly could, and I got up to about 17.5 stone, and I was strong, and I needed to look like that, but I wasn't very fit. I've gone through the whole process of stepping on stage where you look incredible, but again, I wasn't fit. I was very unhealthy. It's a very unhealthy way to live your life. Whereas now, I kind of have found a nice, happy kind of middle ground. So I stay relatively lean pretty much all year round. I try and stay 8 to 10 weeks out from, say, doing like a photo shoot. Because if I want to go on holiday, I want to look really good on holiday.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that. But like I did a photo shoot a few months ago, and I dedicate 16 weeks to that, and I made sacrificing stuff, and those photos I got were really good. And then I've kind of just maintained, but I've been able to stay relatively lean and in shape and healthy, and I've been able to go out for meals, and we've gone out for food, and I've gone and done stuff, and I've had a relatively normal life. Treats on a Friday night, 1 or 2 treats a week, but then boom, straight back on. And I find that routine, eating the same foods all the time, very easy for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at the point now where it's all about looking good and being healthy and being able to do the things I love to do, like going to the gym, playing basketball, this for as long as I possibly can. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to be a mass monster. I don't want to be 17 stone again, because I used to get out of breath walking the dogs, sort of things.
Bending over these shoelaces.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. I've been there, done that. You know, got the pictures and the t-shirt to prove it. Whereas now it's about longevity for me, being able to do the things I love for as long as I possibly can. And that's what I've kind of taken from my journey. The journey I've been through with my fitness has led me to the point I am now, and I'm the happiest, the healthiest, and the most body confident I've ever been, you know, in my entire life. And I'm really happy where I am.
So what would you say, mate, would probably be the biggest factor that got you through prep?
I used to visualise winning. I didn't win. I used to visualise just getting on the stage every day, every week, thinking, what's my next check-in going to look like?
Yeah.
What's going to look like? For me, it was the first, I don't know, 5-6 weeks, maybe even longer. Nothing really happens. Not for me. This is me anyway. So maybe you might change.
Yeah, of course.
For me, I don't know. For me, that 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Nothing happens really, and then all of a sudden, everyone around me just goes, "Fucking hell, he's on prep," because my body just changes, and then it's like something just clicks, and you're training. Like when I'm in shape, I train in a vest. I don't train in a vest because I want people to look at me. I train in a vest because I want to look at myself. Because seeing my muscles work and seeing the veins and everything, it just fucking
Drives you forward.
It just drives me to push harder. If you're doing like, I don't know, lateral raises, and you get into that 10, 11, 12 rep, and you're like, oh, they're popping now. It just gives me that buzz to just go more and go more. Or you're on legs and you see your legs popping and the veins come in. Like that was always a goal for me. That was like a milestone for me. I'm like, I'm on prep, okay. As soon as my legs go veiny, I know that shit's changing. I know that something's happening because you've got little milestones. Like I think I'm 5 preps now, and you just know when the little milestones are being hit, and it's like in your head just having that, like, you just, I don't know. For me, it was the mirror. I was like, I didn't care about the weight. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It was just like seeing that person change, and just be like, that's why I do it. That's why you've just got to eat the food, do the training, do the work, and just keep going through it. Because it is easy. Like easy in the sense of all you have to do is follow the plan.
Yeah.
There's no thinking.
Yeah, it's very methodical.
Follow methodical routine. Follow the plan. Yes, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because it's like starvation. But just What about you?
I think my biggest factor to get me through anything was always keeping that goal in mind. Why did you start? And I think, to be honest, mate, there's quite a lot of things, you know, that you draw inspiration from, you draw motivation from. Now, you know, people might see me and think, oh, he's up his own arse or whatever, you know. It's one of them, and it comes with it. Yeah, it just comes with a fucking character, doesn't it? Big ginger cunt. Yeah, but funnily enough, I take inspiration from other people. And I'm not even talking, you know, your pros and stuff like that. I take inspiration from people that look normal, or potentially people at my level or below me. Whether that be they're putting hard work in, whether that be that they've just hit a PB or stuff like that. I might not tell them. I might just like the video or something like that. But I'm watching and I'm like, holy shit, do you know what I mean?
Do you ever like
I take inspiration from that.
look at? Do you ever know like who you're competing against in shows, in competitions?
So, not to sound sort of, you know, it's not at that level, but you know the circuit. You sort of, you know, as long as you've sort of got your nose here, there, and everywhere, you sort of knows done what, who's going to be where. If they don't turn up, then so be it. But you know, the sort of the level that I'm at now, although I've not competed in sort of 6 months, you know, I'm at that level of England. I'm at that level of Britain. You know, I can be there, and I know all the names that are there. 90% of them I've competed against, or they haven't come the same route as me. It's that simple. The only ones that I wouldn't have competed against are the guys that are like at World's Strongest Man now. Yeah. Other than that, if you've sort of hit that level in the last 2 or 3 years, I've competed against you, or you've gone a different route. Yeah. If you've gone the same route as me, I've definitely competed against you. You know, so I look at them sort of lads, and like I've said many times before, if you can do it, I know I can do it. It's that simple, and probably do it better. It's just having a good run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the biggest thing in this sport will always be injuries. That'll put you out. Always be injuries. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that sort of I've got on social that I watch their shit and I'm like, fucking hell, man, that's good. I'm so glad you're doing that.
I suppose with yours, it's like it's numbers, innit?
Yeah. So I look at it, and I don't look at weight. I look at reps. Because strongman's becoming a very, very rep-orientated sport now. It's, well, who gives a fuck if you can deadlift 400 kilo?
Yeah.
How many fucking times can you do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the alpha. Do you know what I mean? Well, I can deadlift 450. Yeah, but how many times can you deadlift 400? I can do 10. Well, I can only do 4. Well, shut the fuck up then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like where you get on bodybuilding stage and it's like, oh, trying to push people out the way. It's no different than that. Yeah. There's nothing more testosterone filled than a room full of strongmen where you're all looking at each other and you're like, I'm better than you. Nah, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. But no one's trying to... It's the weirdest fucking experience ever, because the first strongman comp I ever went to, like a big one, was Northern Qualifiers, and I was looking in there's some big dudes there. To look at after, if you watch it, I'll probably put the picture up with Mijor Tate. I was actually either the biggest or one of the biggest there. But to look at them at eye level, they were miles bigger than me, stronger than me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here, man? These guys are going to punch my head in. And then after, I'm just like, these guys are all fucking pussies. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's a whirlwind, man. But yeah, it's definitely, I'd say I draw inspiration from that. I definitely take motivation from like my little girl constantly telling me that I'm the man. I love that shit. I'm the king. I love that shit. I think it's sick. So yeah, she's amazing. And just having good people around you, you know, I've got my guys around me, the gym bros. I've got fucking Mijor Tate. He's always massaging me, aren't you? Guy. So yeah, it all helps, you know. Yeah. But I think the main thing for me, the factor is in my mindset is, why did I start? Why did I start? And when I stop, if I look in the mirror and I ain't achieved what I feel I need to achieve, I'm a pussy. And no one else can call me that. Only I can call myself that and mean it. And if I say that to myself, then, do you know what I mean? It's just like, bro, you're a bitch. Do you know what I mean? So don't start something if you ain't going to finish it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's how I see it anyway. But yeah, that's how I see the mindset. Like, you know, everyone's got their own little things that keep them motivated and disciplined and whatever else. But, you know, it does come to a point where it is just methodical. And then just achieve what you need to achieve, however you see fit.
I don't think, not everybody's going to be able to compete, and that doesn't mean that you're any less than someone that can. Some people can do it, some people can't. At the end of the day, everyone's got their own personal goals, their own personal levels of achievements, their own things that they want to achieve. You know, some people might just want to get in shape to go on holiday, and if you step into the gym and that's what you want to do, to get yourself in shape so you feel good when you go on holiday, so you look good on your pictures, then and you achieve that, then well done. You've been and done that. You've had the mental toughness to be able to take on a challenge, set yourself a goal, and go forward. So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, man. Wrap it up. They need to, Josh.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Gym Bros Podcast out.